Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm running some T5 Abyss sites to get some more ISK, and I want to actually get it to be able to buy potentially a Barghest. You know, I was talking about Barghest before, but then something I've actually also thought about is actually getting a Nurgle, because Nurgles can be used in pairs for the burner missions, and that's something I think would be really cool. And it's also quite a bit cheaper than a Barghest as well. One of these Nurgles costs like 200 or 300 mil, so that's pretty like a not a crazy expensive ship like maybe a 1 bill Barghest, because Barghest, compared to all the other pirate ships, they're quite expensive actually. If you look at the Rattlesnake, costs about 600 mil, and then if you look at the Vindicator, it also costs about 600 to 500 mil I think. But then you got the Barghest, it goes in like 800 mil, and it has to do with the Mordu's Legion ships just in general cost quite a lot, because it's just hard to get them. You get them in the low sec from these Mordu's Legion special operatives that you have to kill in low sec asteroid belts, and they're quite rare, so I think that's why they cost quite a bit. It's just in general quite hard to get them, not that the actual materials cost a lot. Then another third thing I was actually thinking of doing is actually a bit for you guys, was that I've got an alpha account that's got quite a lot of skills, but not a whole lot of skills, and I was thinking actually of maybe using the ISK for getting alpha injectors, because I was thinking of maybe getting like a maxed out alpha clone to see what's the best stuff we can get as an alpha clone. Like what's the, like try to min-max stuff for that, so we could try doing Abyss, we could try doing Frigate Abyss on like not these day one alpha clone stuff, but like on like a alpha clone that's been playing for quite a while. They've basically got the best you can get as an alpha clone. I think that would be a pretty interesting thing to do, a bit more engaging maybe even, because it would be cool to say, for example, you know, is an alpha clone to go and maybe get a Gila and see if we can find good Gila fits for alpha clones, maybe T4s, maybe even T5s. Probably want to do T5s because you'd have to do crazy expensive fits, because I have to use quite an expensive fit and I've got almost perfect skills. Imagine then with an alpha clone, it's going to be like really extremely expensive, and I don't think that's the amount of ISK I want to shed out. But definitely T4 I think will be possible, and maybe T3 will probably be a bit more like entry kind of style, and then also Frigate Abyss and that kind of stuff could also be potential entry points to tackling the Abyss as an alpha clone. I especially use our MWD because I was getting scrambled I think before, that's why it wasn't activated. I'm gonna actually recall these drones because they just, you know, they're the faction ones. I was just using the faction ones because you've got a lot of frigates here, so they'll have a bit of better tracking. We can actually just try taking out the frigates before we actually go for the cruise. Do this, shoot off missile. I keep, you know, I've been watching back some of my videos from time to time, and I just noticed that I've been often not shooting my missiles when I was supposed to shoot them. The heavy one is not hardly going to do any damage to the frigate, so I'm just going to leave it there just to pop cans, and I need to. It doesn't really do much damage, but the light missiles, I should be using them a lot more often. It's I could definitely use them a lot more often. Let's go and attack this, and we've got the light missiles on reload, so we do not have to use them right there. And the thing that is with alpha clones is that you can actually, you know, the daily alpha injectors is quite a bit cheaper than a plex. So, you know, plex, you go cost like, what was it now, 1.3 bill or something like that, 30 days. And then with that, if you divide that by 30, it becomes like I think 60 or 70 mil a day or something like that. Can't remember the exact math, but the thing is, an daily alpha injector costs quite a bit less. They got to go for like 30 or 40 mil, something like that, so they're quite cheap. And also the good thing about them is, you know, you don't have to be stressed out about always getting them. You know, you can stop whenever you want to. It's just skill points, so there's no okay, if you do not pay up, then you're going to go back to alpha clone from Omega if you don't pay the plex, for example. But if an alpha clone, you're always going to have those skills. It's just that whenever you feel like, or whenever you've got the money, you could do that. And actually that's something I've been thinking of maybe doing. Maybe I would do that, because the thing is, I get so many people asking me stuff like, oh, can you please show me this for alpha clones, this for alpha clones. So I think maybe it would actually be useful for you guys if I do that, but we'll see, because I want to have a blitzing ship, and I also want to try that Nurgles, but we'll see. The thing is, using an alpha clone will not really give any direct benefit to me though, because I can obviously not use an alpha clone at the same time as I've got an Omega. Can't actively need 2 Omegas. That's a bit of an unfortunate thing right there. Okay, reactivate or reload these and just recall our drones to go to the next room. That was a quick room right there. Oh, actually not that quick, you know, 4 minutes, 4.5. So not that extremely super fast ones, but the sleeper waves, they tend to have quite a lot of HP. There's a lot of stuff you have to just get through. Oh, we got some more FE Altis. And I can imagine we're maybe on the 50% EM resistance, because this is obviously going to go a lot slower. Yeah, 50%. I just knew it. Just, oh, we're in the minus 50% EM resistance, because you tend to notice that it goes about 4 to 3 minutes per wave if it's the minus 70% one, and if it's the 50% one, it's usually about 5 minutes or 4 to 5 minutes. So it's an easy way for me. I've done so many of these. If we go in here and look here in the Abyssal Dead Space part here, I've done a lot of Abyssal Dead Space sites, 800 T5s, 400 T4s, quite a lot. So I have a lot of experience with this, at least with running them in the Gila. I mostly run them in the Gila. Sometimes I have been doing them in different ships, like Sacrilege, for example, or Ishtar. But the Gila definitely has always been my go-to farming ship. I'm thinking of doing actually a few videos of showing them, or me running the Abyss in a Sacrilege, because definitely is a viable alternative. It's just a bit slower, because the problem with the Sacrilege is, you know, the missiles are not the best when it comes to the small stuff. And also, if you're going to use missiles, usually you'd use a heavy assault missiles, because the heavy missiles do quite little damage. The only problem with the heavy assault missiles is that they have very short range, like 20-something kilometer range. So it's not at all that great range, so you'll have to get in close very quickly, and that makes it so that basically you almost always have to have an afterburner, because you always have to have an MWD, and if you have an MWD, then it's gonna, you know, make your fitting, or your cap is going to be harder, fitting is going to be harder. But usually I don't have much issues, especially in the electricals, because that's the good thing about the Sacrilege. It's not locked in terms of its damage to a particular type of missile, like for example the Rook or the Cerberus or the Onyx. They're all locked to kinetic missiles in terms of their bonuses, so their kinetic missiles will do a lot of damage, but all the other missiles will do really crap damage. It's not even worth using them. But the Sacrilege, on the other hand, it has actually bonuses to every single missile type, so that's really good, because then you can actually use it in the electrical sites. And I think the electrical sites just so good because of that capacitor bonus you get. It's so easy to get boss tank on it. There comes to kind of the other issue with the Sacrilege, is that it's an armor tank ship, and I find that in general armor tank ships are quite hard to achieve lots of EHP per second tank on, just because unless you spend a lot of money. The thing is, with, you know, the shield boosting ships, you can actually use extra large shield boosters, or large shield boosters, like oversized ones. Then you'll be doing quite a bit of EHP per second. The thing is, with the armor repairs, large armor repairs have crazy fitting requirements. For some reason, the extra large shield boosters and the large shield boosters, they don't at all have as crazy fitting requirements as the large armor repairs. Like, you got like medium shield boosters, and then you got medium armor repairs, and then medium shield booster to large or extra large, because the extra large or large can still be fitted on a cruiser, just maybe one or two fitting modules, but it's almost impossible to actually fit a large armor repair on a cruiser unless you are really going, almost your whole ship is dedicated to being able to fit that large armor repair. So it's really just not worth it to go with the large armor repair route, and it's a bit unfortunate, because I wish there was even an extra large armor repair, but maybe it would make it a bit OP, because the reactive armor hardeners is that module that makes you adapt your resistances over time, is quite powerful. And I can imagine if you have a really crazy amount of armor repairing plus that resistance amplifier, it'll make people just have tanks that are just so strong that it is invincible, especially in PvP. PvE, don't really care too much about that, but in PvP, that's the way a lot of the balancing is based on, and they'll be OP right there. Okay, let's split our drones a bit. Always important to split your drones, very important to split your drones. We're actually getting this orange cloud here. You can see here we're getting more capacity. You can see our capacity is going to 25%. Usually we are about 50%. Okay, no, we're not close enough. Keep shooting. Do not forget to shoot. That's something I often do. Okay, let's go to the transfer conduit. Keep it 500, just to be able to always be in range of the activation when it actually opens. Not many ships left. Split them up and go for these guys right here. You see, this is the good thing about my ship, is that it's just got so good capacitor with the electrical sites that even though we've got an orange cloud, we're still actually cap stable even with our MWD on. So it's really good, got a really good capacitor. Now we're not in the orange cloud anymore, so you see here it had 16. Oh, now we're in the orange cloud. See there? 4 gigajoules per second, and then I think we're in just like the board of the orange cloud. That's why we're going in and out, because it was 16 gigajoules per second when we're not in the orange cloud. Let's keep shooting our missiles. Always important to shoot our missiles. Sorry that I must be bugging you OCD kind of people that, oh, why are you not shooting your missiles? Why are you not shooting your missiles? It happens sometimes. I just forget about it, especially when I get carried away in my thoughts. Okay, let's see now. FE Altis Confuser. Doing sensor dampening on us really does not matter at all when we're at this range. Sometimes it can be a bit annoying when you're sensor damped, especially when you're in the beginning of the room where you can't get a lock straight away. Your damage is obviously going to be starting to apply later, and then you'll be applying DPS later, and effectively making the site run less. Okay, we've got a bunch of Triglavians. They can sometimes be a bit dangerous, but honestly, in our T5 running Gila, it's just no problem whatsoever. We've got a bunch of anchorings, actually. Not so many starve rings, though. So we're going to basically be stuck in place. Let's just take out all these anchorings real quick. split them up. Usually I want to split them up, but there's just so many that I just want to split them up because I'll be traveling so much. It's not like I want there's like, because for example, if there was one anchoring, then I would just have them all go on the same one, because it's very important for me that I don't get scrammed. But here I'm going to be scrammed a lot, so I will just go split them up just to be able to take out the whole group very quickly. Okay, these guys are falling like flies, these scrubby Triglavians. I hate Triglavians. They just invade our space, taking over our trade routes. You can't go in the Arja anymore. It's just chaos. They're just wrecking havoc in our world, and it's kind of like what I'm doing right now. What if the Triglavian invasion, there's the law behind the Triglavian invasion that they're coming to get resources, because apparently in Abyssal Dead Space it's very scarce of resources, but it's kind of a bit of like revenge from their part, because we're just stirring stuff up in their world here in the Abyss, so they're doing the same thing with us. I can see it as being kind of a revenge thing, even though it's been implied in the law that the main reason is due to resource scarcity. Let's go for this tangling over here. We can actually activate our MWD just to get a bit closer, or get up to speed. It's not going to be as efficient to activate our MWD, obviously, because of how we've been tangled a lot or webified a lot. I keep using these terms, you know, tangled and anchored, because that's the name of these Triglavian ships, but it's not the correct thing. You should say you're webified or you're scrambled, but you get used to what you're hearing around you. Let's get this Triglavian Biodaptive. Gosh, you see only 400 meters per second, even though we've got the MWD on. It's really bad speed right here, but it's at least better than not having it on, because then we'll just have really bad speed. We'll almost be stationary. It'll be a bit dangerous since we got Starling one over here, so you wouldn't want to, you know, activate the MWD too much. You can see our capacity is going down a bit, but it's not that much. Sometimes you can get the whole wall of the overview can be filled with the starvers. Then I would probably take out the starvers first, not these anchorings. But since we've got so few starvings, I just go for all the anchorings, just so I can get moving quicker, so I can complete the site quicker, because my site time is basically dedicated at this point, is dictated by how fast I can actually kill or how fast I can actually get to these Triglavian wrecks, because you can see here there are a lot of wrecks on the grid, so I'll have to travel a lot, so it'll take quite a long time to actually get them. We just want to keep getting our speed up so we can get them very quickly. Then we'll hopefully gather everything before we actually kill everything. The starving, just so we don't have to think about it. Like one of these starving Vedmaxes, honestly, they could just nuke me all day. Nothing is going to happen, but I just want to get him off grid, because he's going to do a lot of damage as well. Not only do Vedmax newt a lot, they also do a lot of damage. And something you have to remember, that they can spool up to crazy numbers if you let them spool up. It's like, you do not want to underestimate the Vedmax. These actually, I noticed they've got a bunch of ghostings here, and that's also going to make stuff a bit worse, because of how they're going to make my missiles apply a bit worse. But luckily we've got most of our damage in the drones, so that's not really going to affect us. Apparently the only EWAR that can affect drones is ECM, I've heard. So even if they do somehow try to do EWAR their ghosting or their tracking disruption on my drones, I don't think it's really going to do anything. Let's grab this extraction node, grab this over here. Doesn't seem like we've got the best amount of ISK, so just 46 mil from this one site. If we go in Abyssal loot filter, got 41 mil, so it doesn't seem like it's that great. Maybe we could get some lucky drops from these cans over here. Okay, nothing there. Maybe something from this Biodaptive. You know, the Biodaptive is that wild card. You can get hundreds of millions if you're lucky, or you can just get really crap, like just 2 mil from it. It's just really, it's a big RNG loot box. Okay, let's get these. And there's just rogue drones left. We've got those rogue drones helping the Triglavians. It's a very common thing you see here in the Abyss. I hope it's small disintegrator specialization. That would be so cool if I actually get it. It's such a long time since I got it. I have the most recent skill book I actually got when it comes to those specialization skill books was the large disintegrator specialization, but those are not at all worth as much. I think it's like worth 40 mil, something like that. It used to be worth quite a bit more, but now it's dropped a lot in price. But the small one is actually only 4 mil, so it's really, this is like almost T4 level loot we're getting right here. Unfortunate, but that sometimes happens. That's the aim. That's the common thing you get in the Abyss. Sometimes you can get really good stuff. You know, I've sometimes got hundreds of millions from one room. Sometimes you can be like this, only get 50 million. But that's just the nature of the Abyss. It's an RNG festival. Okay, and we obviously didn't get that good waves either. We were taking quite a long time. You know, 15 minutes, not the best time of times either. But that's just the thing. You know, you can get RNG loot, you get RNG spawns, everything's RNG. Anyway, that's it for this T5 run, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.